I'm a student from Harmony School of Innovation, Katy, and this is my PBL on the brain model. I want to start off by describing some of the major principles and ideas behind my project. Since I am doing the brain model, some important aspects include understanding the brain anatomy and the 4 lobes and major parts of the brain. Furthermore, it's good to have a general idea of the functions of these different parts and how they work together, as the purpose of a brain model is to further your understanding on this outstanding organ. Here's a breakdown of the major brain parts that I covered in my experiment with their functions. There's the frontal lobe in blue, which is responsible for voluntary movement, memory, communication, attention, and emotions. There's the parietal lobe in yellow, which is responsible for sensations, reading, and body orientation. There's the occipital lobe, which is responsible for vision. That's the green one right there. And there's the temporal lobe in red, which is responsible for hearing, memory, language interpretation, and behavior. Other parts include the cerebellum in brown, which controls balance and coordination, and the brainstem in orange, which controls breathing, digestion, sleep, attention, and more of the body's automatic functions. Now, I want to highlight the steps for my project. For my materials, I use multiple clay colors, a clay molding material, I use a plastic butter knife, and hands.
I started off by gathering information on the anatomy of the brain to get a good idea of how I would shape it. Next, I gathered my materials. Then, I molded the clay into their appropriate shapes, being sure to color code depending on the part. For the frontal, temporal, parietal, and occipital lobes, I rolled the clay thin and compressed them into the shape of lobes, depending on the shape and positioning of the respective lobe.
For the cerebellum, I textured a round piece of clay with my utensil. For the brainstem, I molded a vertical structure with slight bumps to represent the pawns with my hands. To complete my project, I melded the parts together and touched up final details. This is the final image of what my brain model looks like. For my PBL, I did both an ELA and social studies component to go along with my brain model experiment. To summarize my ELA component, which can be seen here, I constructed an argumentative essay supporting the contention that the brain model is a project that has positively influenced society since its creation by talking about its influence on learning and all sorts of careers. You can pause right now if you want to read through my essay. For my social studies component, I discussed major historical connections for the brain model, including topics such as early neurosurgery, the scientific revolution, and the eventual discovery of different brain parts and functions, which resulted in the most updated and accurate version of the brain model. You can pause and read here if you'd like. Thank you for watching HSI Katy!